Nathanial McDaniel and the Magic Attic, Big Beard's Hook, by Evan Solomon, illustrated by Bill Slavin. For Maisie, who opened our magic door and took us on the greatest adventure of all, yes. For Dawson, who is always the first to share my adventures, BS. Nathaniel McDaniel loves to explore. He peeks into dressers and opens closed doors. He digs through closets and sifts through junk and puts on old clothes that he finds in a trunk. His big eyes are green, his shoes need repair, and he never combs his straw-colored hair. When Sunday comes round, Nate visits his Gramps, who lives in a mansion and collects old stamps. It's a grand place to dig, to hunt, hide, and seek. Every nook and cranny is completely unique. Nate stays the whole day until 6:30, when Gramps grabs for his case beside the gold candlesticks. Then reaching inside, Gramps makes a selection and gives Nate a stamp straight from his collection. Nate shivers and smiles. He goes red in the cheeks. With a hug for his Gramps, he'll be back next week. One Sunday, Nate spies a hatch with a padlock. He grins and he gawps. That must be the attic. But why such a lock, and where is the key? Nathaniel McDaniel has so much to see. The attic is secret, his Gramps' special place. No one else has been there, left even a trace. Nathaniel McDaniel begins to get sore. With such a big lock, how can he explore? So he picks it, he pokes it, he practically chokes it. He pulls it, he bangs it, he even harangues it. The lock holds firm, refusing to budge, and Nathaniel McDaniel develops a grudge. I'll smash down the hatch, then repair it with glue. I'm exploring that attic if it's the last thing I do. With one mighty heave, he bangs on the door. Then something falls, clang, hitting the floor. The hatch hasn't moved, that's easy to see, but 2 feet away, there it is, the key. What luck! What fortune! Nate feels a chill. The key has been hidden on top of the sill. With his small hand shaking, he lets the lock slide. One click, one clack, and he's on the inside. Now Nate's been in dressers, oh, he's been in drawers, but what he sees now makes him sweat from his pores. For inside the attic is like nothing he's seen. Artifacts, treasures, an explorer's dream. He sees ships in bottles and old suits of armor, spices, devices, and a wooden snake charmer. There are dusty maps in books and pirate hooks, coins in great tins and giant mammoth skins, swords and masks and dry gunpowder, paintings and bones and jars of clam chowder, tiger teeth, moon rocks, a ventriloquist's dummy, a lantern, a compass, and an Egyptian mummy. Nate leaps in the air. He dances and twirls. He's just found the very best room in the world. What to touch first, a bone, bat, or book? But he's drawn to a terrifying old pirate's hook. It's deadly and sharp and covered in dust. There's blood on its point. Or could it be rust? Tiptoeing slowly, Nate chews his thumbnail. He always feels tingly on the explorer's trail. Reaching out his hand, he grabs hold of the rarity when, bazang, there's a cosmic irregularity. As soon as Nate clutches that cold piece of metal, the room starts to boil, all hot like a kettle. He sways and he stumbles. His stomach feels fizzy. Nathaniel McDaniel begins to get dizzy. With eyes shut tight, he hears a great rip, and suddenly he's on board a pirate ship. It's an old Spanish galleon, not much more than a wreck, with pirates all around him, swabbing the deck. Just what's happened he hasn't a notion. How did he get here on the Atlantic Ocean? "Avast, wee sailor," cries a man with a sword. "Get to work, I'll throw ye overboard." Nathaniel McDaniel gulps and he stares. For the first time in years, he feels kind of scared. But he raises his fists and shouts, "You better stay away!" Then the man hisses, "Mates, we got us a stowaway." He yanks Nate up close, his breath fishy and rank. "How's it gonna feel, boy, to be walking the plank?" The pirates all cheer, they snarl and they bark. "Feed the wee lad to the great white shark." Then a splash and a blast from the ocean beneath. Out leaps a shark with 12 rows of teeth. Nate squirms and he fights to save his young life as each man in the mob pulls out a knife. Then just as Nathaniel gives up his resistance, he spots something moving off in the distance. "Navy ship approaching, sailing due west," comes a bellow from way up in the crow's nest. The pirates all scatter to the lee cannon side, and Nathaniel knows this is the best time to hide. He slips below deck and heads straight for the stern. With so much confusion, which way should he turn? Behind him he hears, "There goes the wee lad!" So Nate starts to run like an Olympiad. As he bursts through a door to escape the buccaneers, a voice growls, "Greetings, the name's Big Beard." Nathaniel goes pale when he spies a cocked pistol, for the man in the room is the terror of Bristol. Nate's seen pictures of that one-eyed blue stare, and the great chin that sprouts 10 feet of red hair. "Who are ya?" asks Big Beard, swilling some rye. "Ya better start talking if ya don't want to die." Nathaniel McDaniel doesn't know what to say, so he gets on his knees and he starts to pray. But Big Beard doesn't shoot, and this is no lie. Instead, he wells up with tears in his one great eye. "I ain't gonna harm you," Big Beard chokes back a sob, "for a pirate with no hook is like a man with no job." Nate's confused for a moment, but soon understands the great Captain Big Beard is missing his hand. Now Nathaniel is clever, as everyone knows, and he's hidden the hook deep inside of his clothes. If he plays this out right, and isn't too hasty, that hook is his ticket back home to safety. "What happened to your talon?" Nate asks, all nervous. "If I can help in any way, I'm at your service." "I was boarding a French vessel," Big Beard whimpers, then coughs, "when some rascal he jumped me and he pulled it right off. With a flourish and a dash, that's the French specialty, that wretch tossed me claw right into the sea. Oh, what I'd do to have me hook back once more! I'd give all that I have in me treasure store." With that, Nate marches forward crying, "Looky right here," and he hangs that hook from Big Beard's bandolier. The pirate erupts, he roars and he rears. He's so excited he trips on his beard. "Me hook, ye found it, ye gads and blimey!" Then Big Beard frowns and his face turns mean, dark, and slimy. "I guess you'll be wanting to collect your reward. Well, sonny, here she be," and he pulls out his sword. "I don't know where you got it, that's not my concern, 'cause crossin' Big Beard's the last lesson you'll learn." He advances towards Nathaniel, then that villainous crook starts to reattach his beloved hook. "I'd like to thank you, boy, for returning me joint. Now let me show you what I likes to do with its point." But the moment the hook clicks onto Big Beard's stump, the ship starts to shudder, to quake, and to jump. Nate sways and he stumbles, his stomach feels fizzy. All of a sudden he begins to get dizzy. The last thing Nate sees is the pirate's sword play, when bazang! There's a feeling that takes him away. He shuts his eyes tight and hears some loud static. And the next thing he knows, he's back in the attic. Nate's made his escape. It was pretty near tragic. Still, he's discovered a room full of stuff that is magic. 'Cause whatever he touches takes him through time and through space until the artifact is returned to its proper place. Nathaniel McDaniel wants to stay there and roam, but it's close to 6:30 and he has to get home. So he steps through the hatch and closes the lock, puts the key in his pocket, and swears not to talk. As Nate creeps down the stairs, he sees his folks waiting. "What's the matter?" asks Dad. "You're hesitating." Gramps gives Nate a wink and gets off his chair. "Come here," he whispers. "I'll give you something quite rare." Gramps opens his case and makes a selection. He gives Nate a stamp straight from his collection. Nathaniel bends down to take a closer look, and there's old Big Beard holding his hook. What a fluke! What a chance! It's truly a mystery. "Hey, Nate," chuckles Dad, "don't you love history?" Nate shivers and smiles. He goes red in the cheeks. With a hug for his Gramps, he'll be back next week.